Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ball Chess Show. I'm Roland, and with me, the international master, Luis Midardi. How are you doing, Luis?
I'm doing very well. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. In this episode, we will start with our chess tactics crash course. This would be part one. This crash course covers a wide range of chess tactics, including pins, skewers, forks, discovered attacks, overloaded pieces, and much, much more. Master Luis will guide us through these elements using a series of puzzles in a three-part series. Each puzzle may contain one or more tactical elements, challenging you to solve them without knowing the theme, just like how you would have it in a real game. We will give you a few seconds at the beginning of every puzzle to analyze the position, to pause your screen in order for you to try to guess what would be the best possible move. And then Master Luis will give us the solution on how this puzzle should be solved. Master Luis is going to present us with the first puzzle. I will try to analyze the position a little bit first, and then Master Luis will show us the solution and the elements on what we can deduce from every specific puzzle. We will cover 20 puzzles in this episode. In part two, we will cover much more, another 20 probably. And we will start with the first one right away. So in this position, we have an equal position. Black has more pawns than white. So white needs to somehow try to figure out a way to make his attack work. The pawn at e7 is under attack. If we take it with the rook, as in rook from e6 to e7, then we will have we won't be able, the king and the rook are guarding this pawn, so it might not be the best tactical idea. But then the rook at g7 will be open for attack after the king captures it. So basically, I would like to go for this tactic. I will go with maybe the rook from e6 takes e7.
Okay. That is one of the moves we have to calculate. As it's a check and it's interesting. I don't think, although interesting, this is completely winning. I mean, you can give a check, or you can give a few more checks. You can take on g6.
Take the pawn, maybe.
It's a bit tricky because, well, actually black is starting mate on f1, also taking this pawn with check. So I think...
and we can't have repetitive checks in this position as well. See that black king can escape without repetitive checks.
Yeah, probably he escaped. So black might be even winning here.
True.
Instead, what happened in the game? By the way, this is a game of mine. I played it against a field master from Spain. What happened here is, black's last move was to take a pawn on c4. I'm quite sure he realized about the mate that's coming now. I went rook f6. We always have to calculate all the checks as the candidate moves, and in this case, although it might seem a bad move, black's only move is to take, and I'm sure now you can find the solution.
Yes, this
now
is
that
just
the e5 is open.
And the queen is guarding the back rank, so it's just queen to e8. That should be a check. I think he resigned right after the move.
Yes, I think I remember my last move here was, I think, queen h8. So before taking the pawn c4, he thought for a few minutes. I'm sure he saw the checkmate. Finally, he took the pawn. He allowed me to play rook f6, and once I played it, he resigned instead of taking, because of course he was sure I had seen him.
True. I think the tricky part is that players will focus so much on that pawn capture with the buttery rooks, And then they would think about what the queen can do if there is any repetitive checks to end up in a draw somehow for white. But yes, as you said, this is an amazing play. Very, very good puzzle.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the next one. Okay, this one is not from one of my games actually. This is from a game played by world champion Tigran Petrosian, if I'm not mistaken. Here, black made a mistake by taking the knight on d3.
I see.
And probably he was expecting white to recapture with either the rook or the
Recapture.
queen. And yeah, this might be one of the this might be the normal moves, but white had a better way to continue the game here.
To go about it. The way I'm seeing it right now is that the rook is eyeing on the square at g8, and the queen is eyeing on that same square as well. If somehow this bishop was not there, then the queen can actually deliver a checkmate at the bank rank. But to how are we supposed to move this bishop and get a tempo at the same time? That's something I'm thinking about. Maybe if we move the bishop to f5 and we try to clear up the path, and this way we'll have a double attack on the bishop. He can't capture us because we'll deliver a checkmate. So he has to guard, he has to find a way to stop our checkmate, and not seeing a clear way to stop this checkmate right now. Maybe he needs to move the knight somehow and clear the path for the rook.
Yeah.
But to move the knight where? He's going to capture the pawn maybe with the knight.
Yeah. Something like this could happen.
And then we
it's
capture.
Not clear. I mean, we can take his bishop, even we can take his knight, although probably for me the bishop looks a bit
maybe the bishop first, and then we keep the tension at the bank rank. But this might not be the best move. Yes.
Yes, this is not so clear. We have to calculate the checks always. First of all, checks, forcing moves. So in this case, I'm gonna give you a clue. We had to calculate the checks, and at some point we are gonna use the double check or to continue attack. So knowing that, do you have any idea how could you mate in 3 moves here?
Mate in 3. Oh, it's mate in 3. Okay.
It's all very forced. It's check, check, and mate. Every move is the only legal move for black after our.
Probably then it's like a queen sacrifice with a check at g8. Yes, that would be.
Queen g8 is super strong here.
The most forcing move, and then he has to capture. That's the only way to go about it. And now we get a free move with double check, bishop to e6, and now we are double checking the king in this way. And then the only way to continue this game in a good way, he has to move back the king. And then the checkmate will come at g8.
Exactly. Always candidate moves, checks. Yeah, I think
it's very nice, very nice.
Something that has practical value is the fact that after bishop takes d3, it doesn't seem like if white plays either rook takes d3 or queen takes d3, black is completely lost. So as black is expecting a logical move from white to play and to continue the game, I think it's easier for black to miss it. If this was a free piece, in case there is no queen d8, I think probably black would notice. But we are many times focusing on some concrete line, and we forget to make a list of candidate moves. In this case, this check.
In this case, this one.
We might plan.
Although at the first sight, it's totally clear that we need to deliver that bank rank mate, but the sequence of moves to put the queen first instead of clearing the bishop is very interesting. Amazing, Master Luis. It's a very nice puzzle.
Okay, this one is a bit trickier, maybe. This is a game from Mikhail Tal, who is very famous for his sacrifices. I always introduce the puzzle so the viewers have the time to pause the video. Please try to solve it. You will improve much more if you try to solve it, make the work, and keep trying to calculate, and later you compare with the solutions. If not, okay, it's still gonna be good to learn some tactical patterns, but ideally, I think solving tactics is a very useful training. So here, well, do you have any idea about how to proceed? What would you do?
Well, the pawn at d5 looks interesting to me. If we capture it first with a check, then the queen will just block the path, maybe queen to e6. And then not entirely sure how to continue from here. Like the rook is very interesting. Probably since it's a puzzle, I know that the rook will have a job from h1 to h8 somehow.
Yes.
So if we start with the rook first, I'm not seeing how we can continue this attack. Like if we push the rook first and then the king captures it first, this is the most forcing move. How are we supposed to continue this? Like if the queen was on the bank rank, maybe it would have been easier. The bishop and the knights are too far from the price action. If from the position, I mean. Unless if the puzzle is about winning some material and not a checkmate, but I don't think this puzzle is about winning material. Probably this is about checkmating the king. Yeah, I think if I were to go about it, if I didn't know that this is a puzzle, maybe I will attempt something like the bishop to e5. I will try to attack the rook first, or maybe I will capture the pawn, maybe this one, and then it will challenge the knight at the bank rank. Maybe I'll try to push the knights later on. Something like that.
It's interesting. You attack the rook. You, very important, clear the path to
the queen as well.
The queen, but Mikhail Tal found a better move. He played bishop c7. What is a bit surprising because apparently he's just blundering the bishop. I mean, at first, but the idea is that after queen takes c7, I think black already resigned here, but after queen takes c7, white had made in 4 moves. Again, everything is very forced. Now that this file is completely clean, white can use it to play the sacrifice rook h8.
Now it makes sense.
So
yes, absolutely.
Only move is king takes h8, and now of course we complete the sequence by bringing the queen to attack, and only moves for black, and finally we mate with queen h8. And of course, if white hadn't taken the bishop here, we just pick up the queen and it's game over. Moving the queen away like queen e6 or anything like that doesn't work very well. In this particular case, I don't think rook h8 is that strong, but queen h6 followed by queen h8, the knight is coming to g5. Well, there are some concrete lines, but okay, white is completely winning after.
Absolutely, and the move I suggested will not work because the queen is not under attack.
Yeah, that's the big difference, I think. Bishop e5.
That's the big difference.
We're not attacking the queen, so black has more time to try to defend. Even rook takes g6.
Then he will try to go. He's not. We are not winning a tempo. The idea is the approach is correct, but we're not winning any tempo. So
exactly,
we are not able to capitalize on the checkmate. Very nice.
So bishop 7 is super strong. Here, okay, I'm sure you can solve this one. This is from a world champion. Actually, the first world champion, Stainis. Well, you know what you have to calculate.
Yeah, I think here we will sacrifice the rook from h8 to h2.
Very good.
And then the king
has to say.
Then the king has to capture back, I think. And then we move the other rook forward. And this is it.
Knight and bishop help the rook to checkmate white. So yeah. This is game over.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is so beautiful. It's a very common pattern as well when you have two rocks sliding over to the end. Many players tend to calculate first the rock sacrifice first and see, especially that the knight and the bishop are eyeing on the remaining squares, which gave us a very clean way to go about it.
Okay, in this case,
Very well.
Black just played e4. Black's idea is to attack our knight, and at the same time he's attacking our queen. Probably Black was expecting White to take the pawn, let's say queen takes e4, and after something like bishop takes e3, game is complicated. I mean,
very
at least.
Yes, very complicated.
But here, White found a very good way of finishing the game, or well, to at least make sure he's gonna win some material. Well, do you have any idea about how you continue the attack here?
Thinking about some forcing moves first. So I'm starting with starting to see if the bishop at g7 can be captured. I'm also thinking about capturing the pawn at f7 with a check. That would be a forcing move. But capturing it with the rook is making me pause for a while. Like, how am I supposed to continue forward in forcing moves if he captured with the rook? I'm not seeing a clear continuation. The pawn as well from at f5, if we push it to f6, is also interesting. This square that this pawn can be pushed. But ultimately now the queen is under attack, so I'm aware of that. I cannot really waste time capturing pawns unless if it is a queen move or it's a check. So from the way I'm analyzing this puzzle, that it has to be either a queen move or it has to be a check. Otherwise, we are losing the queen and losing the entire game. Queen moves, I'm not seeing any forceful move with the queen. So it has to be either a normal queen move. Normal queen moves are very slow in this position. So there is something going on with bishop to f7. But I can't continue the puzzle. I'm not seeing far enough to see where this is heading. But if I were to vote, I were to guess, probably bishop takes f7, bishop sacrifice, and then from there, I'm not entirely sure.
So bishop takes f7. I think Black might take with the rook, and it's not so easy to continue because now we don't have any check.
True, yes. Which
position remains complicated, but yeah, maybe Black is doing fine here. What White played in the game was the amazing move bishop takes d7.
And to
very
give up the
surprising.
queen.
Yes, it's one of the moves you suggested. But after e takes d3, we had to continue calculating for a moment. And when we realized, in case of rook h8, king takes d7 is the only move, we might think, although of course it's not easy, about f6.
f6.
Making sure the bishop is defended, and next move, no matter what
it will
Black
be
plays,
a short checkmate.
Checkmate. Well, Black might try a couple of checks. Well, I think this one, but okay. I think the easiest here is just to run with the king. So we make sure rook h8 is happening next. I say run with the king because if I take, I still have to calculate this, but this would be still completely winning for White. But with king a1, it's game over. Rook h8 on the next move. And well,
that's
queen takes f6. I mean, Black has a few ways to try to keep the game going for a couple of moves, but okay. Finally, White plays rook h8, no matter what Black plays.
Yes. Beautiful tactic.
White's completely winning here. So okay, this is Black to move. Again, this is a game from the first world champion, Stainis. Well, how will you continue here? What moves will you calculate?
So the queen is under attack. Capturing the bishop with the queen is not possible. So it's either we need to to move the queen, or we need to give a check. Giving a check, I'm not seeing any clear way to give a check in a decisive way. So this is not a checkmate pattern. It should be something about giving a solid attack in this position. Thinking about the pawn at d4, if we can capture it with the knight, if that is possible, if we can do anything about that, we will sacrifice the knight, and then we will clear the path for the queen. The only thing that when the knight gets captured, he will also eyeing the square at f5, so we can deliver this little check here.
Yes.
So that
For the viewers,
doesn't
I
really,
think you are talking about this.
that doesn't work. We will need to do something else. Escaping the queen just to a safe square, like how I would do in a normal game, is very slow. It's just,
yes.
It's very,
as
very
you know,
slow.
this is a puzzle. You know, this is not winning, although like the game
Yeah,
goes
this
on.
is would be a move I would
be
play without really knowing that this is actually a puzzle.
I think
I'm thinking about if we can do anything with the knight. What are the possible squares? The knight to e3 will give us a check, and if the queen captured it, we can capture the bishop directly with another check, and then maybe that will get us somewhere. We can like maybe eye on the pawn, and maybe the knight attack might come next. The bishop might join the battle later on. Maybe it's a solid attack.
Okay.
Could be.
I think this is good for black, and this is probably the way, or one of the ways to find the best move. You start by calculating the moves. You know you have to calculate. The checks. Now you realize if white moves the king, you take the bishop for free, and if white takes on e3, you take on c4. So once you see this idea, you might think about changing the move order, a very useful tool when calculating. So instead of starting with knight e3 and following by
Start with
queen
the
takes
queen.
c4, what if we start with queen takes c4? Of course, this is not the first move or to calculate, or at least not like something that comes to mind, because apparently we are losing the queen, but as you already
we
realized it probably, yes, we have this fork and we pick up the queen, so black remains a piece up here.
Up a piece up, which is much cleaner and easier than the other sequence of moves.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very well.
Actually, this is a game of mine, but as I wanted to show that even strong players miss tactics sometimes. So this is a game of mine, but I was black here and I lost, sadly for me. My last move was bishop e5, and yeah, this was very careless. I missed a tactic. How would you continue as white? Let's see if you would have beaten me here, or not, or maybe I
initially my subconscious mind is calculating the lines of capturing the bishop with a check, and then maybe I will. But then I'm not able to see clearly where to go from here. Like I can, he's going to capture maybe with the knight. Yes, exactly, with the knight, and then there is, or even with the queen, even is possible. So this is not really a very good way. You are attacking my bishop. You might at some point think of exchanging this bishop completely if something goes on. So pushing the pawn to f4, which is natural move, doesn't do me anything. It doesn't really change anything in the position. Yeah, this doesn't really do anything to me. I will get a check out of it, but this is not really much. And my pawn structure is not really the best as well. It would be too much extended. Starting with capturing the knight first, which is also a sequence of order I'm also thinking. Then you have to capture back with the rook. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. And then I will capture the bishop first. I will clear that bishop from the way. So
Yeah.
the queen is the only capture you have to capture with the queen. And now where do we go from here? We can capture the pawn. We cannot.
Yeah. Black is safe here.
Yeah, black is
But
perfectly safe here. So
the
there is
first move
something
is
else. Yeah.
actually bishop takes c6. The problem for black is after queen e4, this is a pin,
Oh,
another
there is
pin,
a pin.
an
True,
attack,
true. Yeah,
too
this
many
is.
things here.
Mm,
So yeah, I think in the game I think I play rook c8, although well, it doesn't matter what I play, I'm lost. But yeah, after f4, I had the hope of like surviving with black after f5 and well, creating some
complicated.
complications. But my opponent very well and like I had seen it, but I didn't see like anything else for black. Found rook takes d6, what is super strong because now well I cannot take with the bishop because of the pin.
There is a complete pin, and now you have to.
I
This
cannot
bishop
take
would be lost as well in
yes
some
I
moves.
can't
So
take with the queen because of different reasons, but mainly like he just takes my queen, and after that I can't take with the rook well because of check and I lose the rook. So yeah, in the game I took with the rook, but after queen takes e5 check, he takes my bishop, he's attacking my rook, and I'm completely lost. I think the game continued like this, and yeah, I lost my rook, so I was a piece down, and well, I
it's
kept
very
playing
difficult to
on,
recover.
but it's completely lost. And in case I try to block the check with the rook, why should not take the rook directly? Because okay, after king takes f6, black survived it, and he's only a pawn down, but with rook d6, white is gonna take the rook for free, and well, white is completely winning here. So in this puzzle, we have seen a lot of pings. I mean, there is well after this, there is a ping on the e file, a ping on the diagonal. I mean, in some lines the pawn on d6 is ping because of the rook hanging. So yeah, many pings together.
The pieces are overloaded as well. There is
Yes.
no cannot mobilize them. Very interesting. Very interesting game though. Great one.
Okay. And yeah, this is another game of mine. Is black to play. My last move was, if I'm not mistaken, doubling rooks on the h file, and it seems like there is a free bishop on the two. I'm not sure if my opponent realized that he was lost here or what he calculated, but I'm sure he was quite strong, so he knew taking the bishop for free would lead to at least some complications. I hope he didn't expect me to hand the bishop, but he still took it. So he allowed me to play a very strong move in this position. How should white continue the attack here? Can you find, let me count, mate in, I think it's mate in 4. Mate in 4
The
for white.
first move that came to my mind is I'm first eyeing on the pawn at f7. This pawn, if we can somehow clear the way from it, yeah, I mean, this pawn, if we capture, I'm thinking of sacrifices right off the bat. So the first move that came to my mind is knight to e6.
Bravo. Very
And
good.
then oh, this is correct. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have to capture back, otherwise the whole game is lost. And
Yes. The
from
only other move would be
oh,
this,
there
but
is this
it's
one.
same
Yeah,
in one
but
move.
I don't see
No,
this
no,
is the
yeah, but
mm.
as
So
you
capturing
said,
back is
f6.
important. And then I need to slide the rook to h7. That is the only way I can think about it. So he has to go back.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter if he goes to g8 or f8. Maybe f8 seems
Yes,
like closer for him to escape.
true. And now, of course, capturing the rook is not really the way I would go about it. Maybe I will push the rook again to h8. And
He's
now he
probably
has to escape this way, and then I will follow up with the second rook.
exactly very good. Yeah. So
Very nice. It's
candid moves, checks. Well, all these sort of things that we have to always calculate are very important.
Very nice game, though. Very nice game.
Thank you. Black is winning in this position, mostly because, although I was going to say material is equal, but actually white is even a pawn up. But this a pawn is very dangerous.
It's white to move or black here?
It's black to move.
Black to move.
What is the easiest way to finish the game here? How would you continue with black?
The first thing I'm thinking about, first of all, we have to see what white is threatening. White is threatening capturing the rook with a check. So this is very, very bad. We cannot really have a slow move like something like pushing the pawn, or it has to be a fast action move, either with the rook or we have to deliver some kind of check. Delivering a check is not easy. The only check I can see here is the queen takes d1. That's the only check I'm seeing. But then after the queen captures back, I'm having difficulties checking how we're going to continue. We can push the pawn first, but then can white stop this pawn somehow? We would push it to a1 maybe. Queen to a1 and then followed by rook to... Yeah, no, that is not possible because of the rook. Yeah, that is not possible.
Yeah.
So how white is going to prevent this pawn from promotion? I'm not saying a way for white to prevent this promotion. Maybe queen to a4, but then the check would still be devastating, and black would still be able to queen anyway. I think I'll go with this sequence of moves.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Queen takes d1 is the move to go. After queen takes d1, honestly, I mean, my opponent resigned here, so I didn't have to choose. But after queen takes d1, I think I would go, or like my plan was to play rook b1.
Okay.
Instead, what is also winning, the reason was that after a2, I was struggling a bit to make sure black is winning if white goes king f2. The idea is now we cannot promote directly. Black's normal move would be rook b1.
Sure, yes, that would
trying to go a1 next, but I was a bit concerned about queen d8 check. And for example, if king g7, queen f6, this seems very dangerous.
Perpetual check. Oh, I see.
Exactly. So,
and we can't escape from it. Like, yes, at h7, how would he continue with his checks?
I think queen takes f6.
No, initially, if from the beginning you went to h7.
I think king h7 could be the most interesting move here. But maybe as now when we promote, it's not check yet. He can try to attack the pawn on f7 somehow. I wasn't honestly like completely sure about.
It's not the most forcing sequence. Yes.
It's a bit tricky. It might be fine for black. For example, I remember one of the moves I was calculating was queen f6, trying to take on f7, also queen f8, even some stuff like bishop d5. And if I promote bishop takes f7, suddenly he's starting mate. So this was a bit confusing. I think, I repeat, I didn't have to choose because he resigned it, but I think I thought rook b1 was easier as I trade, and later my pawn is gonna promote.
Much cleaner as well.
Yes, it might take a few more moves, but I thought this endgame as the only move for white is bishop d5. I can either push directly or wait a few moves, but basically at some point I'll play a2. White is gonna sacrifice, and I still had to play this position, but I was confident.
You should be completely winning.
I was winning here. So my plan was, I think, to trade everything and just win the endgame. The other line is a bit more complicated.
The other line, maybe a chess engine can pull it off, but a human being under time of pressure and in a tournament environment, it's not very easy to go about it. Absolutely. Amazing game.
Okay. Here is black to move. How would you, well, what are the candidate moves? How would you continue? By the way,
So
I wanted to say while you think, I realized it while working on this video how important tactics are because this game, um, the the game we just seen, this one, and I think it was on chapter 2. No, sorry. Well, one of these, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so it was chapter 1. This puzzle from the chapter 1 and this one, this one, and this one are from the very same tournament that I happen to won. But yeah,
nice.
if I can find at least like 4 games that were clearly decided by tactics, I think, I mean, all my opponents were rated about 2200 feeder rating, 2300. I mean, they were very strong. And although playing well until the tactical sequence came was also important, I think I mean, it makes us realize how important working on tactics and understanding how to calculate it. So,
Absolutely. The difficulty about tactics is that throughout a game, the player won't know if there is a tactic or not. Like when you put someone in a puzzle mode and tell him this is a puzzle, then his brain will automatically switch to a tactic mode and he will know that there is something to do here. But in a real game, we have to do that in every move. We have to scan if there is a tactic or not.
yes.
That's what makes it much, much more challenging. So in this position, the first move that is coming to my mind, the most natural move, this is that when I first saw this puzzle, the first move that came to me is knight to e3. This was the first thing I was thinking about. And then I need
Okay.
to I need to calculate here. So the knight has to capture because otherwise the game is lost. I don't think any other way for white to continue other than capturing. So if we capture back, would we be able to go to do anything here? Like what is the problem here black is posing? The problem is rook to e2 might be a threat. But then if he just played the other rook to I don't know, to e1, would that be even? No, that's not possible. That's not possible because we'll just capture it right away. So how
Yeah.
would white continue from here? That's something I was trying to calculate while you were talking. I was thinking about this position, what white can do in this position, how he would be able to keep on going with this. Would he cannot push the rook, he cannot bring the other rook in the game in time. He needs 2 moves at least. So I'm not seeing a clear path here on how white he can continue putting pressure. He can capture the pawn, maybe just stay still without doing anything.
Yeah.
But then we capture back with the queen, and maybe we're adding more pressure here somehow.
I think black has some pressure here, but as it's a
Not enough.
puzzle, yeah, it's not forcing now because even if you manage to play rook e2, you still need a few moves to win. So I think it's a very common practice to try, I mean, to calculate a move and spend some time with that move. But actually, if in the starting position we try to make a list of the candidate moves and consider more than one move, in this case, more moves than 93, it's gonna be an easier way to come up with good moves, or like we see like yeah, basically better moves, and like we'll calculate better. So this is one of the candidate moves. You're right about it.
The
We would,
other
yeah,
moves is I'm also thinking about capturing the pawn at d4, but I think your opponent probably has calculated this already because
yes.
otherwise he wouldn't play, his last move if he did not have this in mind.
I
Um,
think this is interesting, but not that forced or not completely winning. What other
very
moves come to
forceful.
your mind?
Uh, the rook capturing the pawn, and the rook also can go to to d8, but then we will not. It might be very slow as well. Yeah, I'm thinking of something very fast, not like a normal move, something that would give us like a decisive advantage, like right off the bat, something that would really help us. Pushing the rook to e2, would that work right away?
Yeah. I think there are many interesting moves for black, but I found a more direct way to proceed. I think my opponent resigned after knight takes d3. The problem for white is, well, if he does nothing, now his king is even more open, as, well, he's lacking this pawn.
Absolutely.
And besides that, I'm attacking the queen, of course, and like, okay, the position is super bad for him. The critical move is, of course, like king takes d3. And black has to know what to play here, but now we can just go queen d6 check, always check the checks. This is not only checking the position, but the only check that is not losing. So, okay, queen 5 runs into d takes 5, so queen d6 check. And here, if knight f4, we can just take. So white will, either after knight f4 or right now, be forced to play king h4. And here, honestly, I was completely sure I had checkmate here, but I didn't bother to calculate it, or I'm not sure if I had calculated during the game, because I saw g3. Only move was king h5, and I think at first I decided to play this and thought, okay, this is winning.
It should be fine.
At least I can take the rook, but while calculating, I saw rook f5 was mate.
Which completely, yeah, this amazing tactic here. Probably your opponent missed it because he went through the lines that I went through, and he was like, he should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did lots of these deep lines calculations, which should be totally good. Amazing puzzle. Thank you so much for featuring this game, Master Luis.
Well, what was played against a very strong player from Spain too, and here, well, I had the opportunity to play a nice move, and kind of like helping a little bit just by saying I like it, this move. I think it's not brilliant because not that difficult, but yeah, it's the kind of move we always like.
It's white to
and want
move.
to play.
It's white
Yes,
to move, right?
it's white to move. And if I'm not mistaken, I think black's last move was king g8. After I gave a check on d6, he played king g8.
He has to escape. Okay.
So
very well.
How would we continue here? What are the candidate moves? What moves come to your mind? And
the most natural move, and I think was the move your opponent calculated, is capturing the bishop first. This would be the most natural move. But then after capturing back, nothing is going on. Black is fine, is able to hold the position. He might even think that one of his pawns might pass through in time by the end game. So there is nothing really going on here. For white is not able to keep on the pressure. So capturing the bishop is definitely not the right move. We have to think of something to do with the if there is any sacrifices we can think of to generate some kind of good play. Rook to h8 is not really, I don't think it will do anything for us. We need to, if we need to move the knight somewhere else, all the squares are mostly covered. The move that I'm currently thinking of is knight to e8. That's the move that I'm thinking of. Trying to see if there is like anything I can do with this move. Yes, I mean, he can capture my queen. I'll capture his queen.
Yeah, this is
but
this
is unclear. He can capture my knight instead.
But yes, I think this is
he can just capture my knight, and then I'm not seeing much of continuation from here. I don't think we managed to do anything here in this case. What else do we have?
The first move you thought about was this, right? The problem is black has knight h6, although it requires extreme measures. How can you stop black from being able to play knight x6. I mean,
unless if we capture the knight directly with the queen first, we clear that out, and then he has to capture back. If he doesn't capture back, then he lost the game, I think.
Yes, pretty much. So
yeah,
he took the queen.
Then we take the bishop.
Yes.
Oh
now,
wow! So
if he
so
blocks,
cool.
we just take the queen. So king f8 is the only move.
Now I see it. You see, now I see it.
Yes. How do you continue here?
Yeah, this is we have now a discovered check. So
yes,
we move the knight to h5, and I think now he has to put the king at e8, if I'm not mistaken, and then we capture the queen, and it's just game over at this point.
It's mate. Actually, it's a nice mate where all the pieces coordinate together. The game didn't end like this, but yeah, this is basically the idea. My opponent blocked it with the queen instead. What is a bit trickier because after taking the queen, both pieces are hanging, right? So it's not that easy to see how to keep both pieces, but white is winning after knight 7. I defend both.
We can defend both. We also have rook to h7 in some moves, which will add lots of pressure at the 7th rank. The bishop, the king, and the last pawn at a7 are all hanging on the same line, which makes it very difficult for black to defend everything. His rook at d8 cannot do everything at once. It cannot protect so many pieces at once, and there is no bank rank check at d1 because the king is already guarding the square at d1 at c1. So amazing. I mean, if you found that in a real game under the time of pressure, that's splendid.
Yeah. Okay, and the next one, well, this position is from the same tournament than the last one. So yes, I mean there are two different tournaments, but this one is from the same tournament than the last one. Again, I repeat this to make people realize how important calculation and tactics are. Like even at very strong player level, the games are decided by tactics. So don't focus too much in openings. Remember to practice your tactics daily. I mean, keep you safe. I mean, here's why to move. It's clear, like things have gone well for white because, well, this pawn is very strong. But if white doesn't play very accurate, he might not
draw
win.
The position. He might draw the position.
Like, actually, we count the pieces is 2 rooks against the queen, what is supposed to be good for black. Still, the biggest problem for black here is that the king
is exposed.
Is a bit unprotected. The rooks are not very well coordinated. So what is the easiest way for white to finish the game here?
2 moves are coming to my mind naturally. Like the moment I saw this puzzle, these 2 squares came to my mind almost instantly. The first square is queen to g4. This is the first square. And the second one is queen to d6. This is also a square that I have been thinking about. The queen to d6, the idea behind it is that I'm attacking basically 2 pawns at the same time. And I'm also adding bit pressure for, I might deliver a check and then push that pawn to promotion and capture the rook. His rook at a3, if he started checking my king, I can easily escape to h3 in 2 moves. So yeah, if he kept on going like that, he wants a draw. That is not going to work out. He might slide the other rook to h8, but I don't think our king will be in trouble because his king is totally exposed as well, and he cannot keep on delivering checks continuously like this. So from that perspective, I'm not so much worried about the perpetual checks at a1. The queen to d6 gives me lots of mobility, centralizing the queen, giving so much threats. I think this is a bit more powerful than checking the king. I can check the king at at g4, but then after the king moves, I'm not seeing a clear way to go about things. I mean, I'm protecting the pawn, yes, but the king is approaching the pawn even further, and if anything, I help the king to approach the pawn one square for free. So I think I would go with d6, but not sure if this is the best move.
Okay. Yeah. Well, by the way, I forgot to mention, I was black here. I lost the game. It's not that I missed this move. I missed something earlier, so I was in a very, very bad position. My opponent chose, I think, the easiest way to, well, not the easiest, but the cleanest way to win. Queen c1 was very good. The idea is you don't allow any check, you don't allow any counterplay, and you are just attacking the rook on a3, and at the same time, this check on g5, followed by taking the rook on d8. So
a threat and a fork at the same time. I see.
Actually, in this case, queen d6 is winning. It's completely winning. But as you said, yeah, you had to calculate what happens if check, king d2, check.
This is
king
very
e3,
puzzling. And then when the rook slides, I need to push further. And then what? I don't know. Like, I think White can make it though. He can somehow make it.
You are completely right. White is winning. In this case, both moves work, but I like how clean he managed to do it.
How clean this is. Yeah, this is very clean.
And yeah, like it's over. I mean, you don't need to calculate many moves in advance. You just have to see like there are no checks. There is no way to avoid both threats, queen takes a3 and queen g5 followed by queen takes d8. So black is lost.
True. Probably he found d6, but then the whole mess with the rocks and the perpetual checks let him think like, maybe is there any other way that I can avoid this whole complications? And absolutely beautiful game. Like, we can learn a lot from these from these tactics.
Yeah. In this game, well, I was white and I just took a knight on d4, and I was a bit surprised, but again, this is something that reminds us of something I said earlier. My opponent was a strong player. He was 2150 rating. He's around 2600 or 2500 on chess. I mean, very strong player, very good player. And what I like from this example is that many times we focus in one move, we calculate a very long line, and we miss something very simple. In this position, he can take with the rook, and although white is better, game is complicated after queen takes e7, but yeah, like, game goes on. However, he took with the queen. I'm sure here he was focusing on queen takes e7, and I know exactly what he calculated, but he might play rook c5 or some other move. But he found a very easy, I'll say very easy move. It's hard if you are not like, if you don't know this is a puzzle, but once you know this is a puzzle, it's not like you have to calculate a lot. But even a very strong player like him missed just one move tactic. How does white win here? Can you find it knowing this is a puzzle?
I'm thinking now that we do have a discovered attack on the queen. I'm also thinking about now that discovered attack on the queen. I'm thinking about, is there any move I can do with it that would get me some tempo? Perhaps like bishop takes g6, maybe.
The problem with bishop takes d6, and in general with most of the discoveries, is that black is attacking your queen, right?
Yes, so that's the thing. So it doesn't really do much for me.
Like queen takes a4 check.
Absolutely, but yes. So there is something else going on here.
If you take into account these two things,
capturing the pawn.
Yeah.
Capturing the pawn at c7 is probably what your opponent calculated initially. I will attack the rook, but then the rook can move, and it will just form a battery. Maybe it will move to d5, and it will form this kind of line at d5, and I'm not entirely sure.
If we take these two things into account, you need, or you want to play a discovery with the bishop but if you play a discovery, he can take your queen. If we know these two things, what discovery do you have that doesn't allow black to take your queen? In this case, there are no checks with the bishop.
Yeah, true. Discovery doesn't allow me to take.
But
The only thing I'm currently working on, I'm thinking about delivering a check and see like how that would actually work.
okay, but I think
But
although
I don't think that is gonna get me anywhere.
no, the move is just bishop e4
Or bishop
because
e4. Yeah, I didn't see
if we
that.
stop him from taking our queen, we deliver this discover attack,
And the
and the
rook is
problem
not
for black
protected.
is exactly this rook is gonna be hanging no matter what he plays here. We'll take the rook, and well, actually, best move is probably to just blunder the queen. But if he moves the queen like wherever he wants, we just take. And it's not the rook; is that, for example, king g7 is mate. So yeah, this very simple move is not a very long sequence, but it's a very easy move to miss because it's such a calm move. I mean, and yeah, you are thinking about queen takes 7, you focus on that, and suddenly you miss bishop e4, and the game is over. If I remember correctly, my opponent resigned already here because he realized that there is nothing to do.
True. I was thinking of something more complex, like a queen takes f7, followed by bishop takes
Yeah, probably bishop
g6.
takes 6.
Yeah,
The problem is
g6. But then
this is very beautiful,
I stopped here.
but
I couldn't
yes.
see continuation. Yes.
The problem is
couldn't
when you
see.
count the pieces. I mean, sometimes we see this kind of tactics. We sack the queen, we sack the bishop, we take the queen, but now
And
you
then
count the
it
pieces.
doesn't work
It
out.
has 2 rooks and bishop. We only have this rook.
Yes,
So yeah,
too
this
much
is not
sacrifices without any solid continuation. Amazing.
so.
Very, very nice game.
Okay, this one again is, I mean, it's easy. It's easy and it's difficult. In this game, my opponent was well supposed to be weaker than me, but still he was around 2000 FIDE rating. So I mean, he's strong. His position was bad, but I'm sure he missed this move. He just castled. Sorry, he just castled because well, he needed
Why
to do
not?
it. And his pawn down, probably he calculated bishop takes c4. What I mean, it might seem at first that I'm losing the bishop, but actually after trading queens, I can take the bishop on d2. I'm 2 pawns up. I'm winning, but okay, he might keep playing at least. I'm sure he calculated bishop takes h3, what is good, but it's not that clear when he moves the rook. However, this is what I was talking about earlier. Again, candidate moves, and once we make our list of candidate moves, it's easy for us to see a stronger move that bishop takes c4, bishop takes h3, that forces my opponent to resign because he's losing a lot of material. What could you play here? What is the easiest way to win material as black?
Very well. Well, the first move that is coming to my mind that I'm calculating currently is bishop takes c4. That was the first move that came to my mind. And then I was thinking, like, he needs to capture back, otherwise it's not going to work out for him. We capture back. He needs to capture our queen. That's the only way. We capture his bishop. And then where does this bring us to? We are attacking his pawn for sure. With the bishop, of course, and we can slide the rook later on. We can also attack his bishop by pushing the pawn to d5. This is a natural move, but it's not very forcing, and he is able to play. It's 2 rooks. Yes, totally fine. So this is not possibly this is not the best.
This is winning for black, but it's
very slow.
Yeah, like you have to keep playing, and I'm sure he saw this, but okay, he thought his position was already bad. He saw, as I said, this, but bishop f5 is much stronger because
true.
the queen doesn't have a good square, and he's gonna lose either the queen or most probably one of these bishops. if he plays, for example, queen f3,
That's the only
we just pick up the bishop. And yeah, winning a piece is much better than winning a pawn. And if he plays queen e3, that would be the other move. Okay, we trade queens, but again, we are going to take the bishop on d2.
We are still...
Except if he takes, but then we take the bishop on e2. So again, another example of candidate moves. Once you think about this move, calculation is not very difficult, but you need to think about this move. It's a bit similar to the last example we saw. Once you think about the move, you don't need to calculate very, very far, but you need to see the move. I mean, so thinking about the candidate moves and trying to force ourselves to,
it's
to make
like
a list of candidate moves.
Removing the defender kind of puzzle between a queen trap and remove the defender, and he has to act on it. Very nice puzzle.
Okay. Yeah, in this position is also a game of mine. I think it's kind of clear White has some
some kind
ideas.
Of attacking ideas. I think if I were playing bullet chess, I will just capture the pawn at h6 right away.
Sure.
And
this
then
is the way to go.
Yeah, I'll start with that. He has to capture back, otherwise it's not going to work out with him. I think he has to capture back.
I think
maybe not.
Well, no, he has to.
He has to.
But my opponent played a different move. If he takes, queen takes a6 is winning. Basically,
winning,
queen h7 is very strong threat. So a very strong threat. Knight f6 might be a line, but okay. I think there is more than one winning move here. Knight e5 trying to go bishop h7.
Exactly, yes. This is
one of the ideas
I was thinking about.
I'm not sure exactly what I calculated during the game. I know I was trying to bring the rook in some way, but my opponent thought, and I guess he realized it, that was losing for him. So he played bishop takes f3, trying to eliminate one of the attackers. So when I take, well, ideally for him, I take and he takes, and this is much less clear, right? And if he takes with the pawn, okay, he takes, and I mean, I cannot include the knight in the attack anymore. So yeah, he might have thought he was surviving here, but again, candidate moves. What is the best move for white here? We are not forced to take on f3 directly.
No, apparently we can keep on pressing forward. We can go with bishop to h7.
Okay.
The other one. And then if he capture back, then I have a discovered check with bishop to g5. I can capture the queen then. I can capture his queen.
Yeah.
And this is one way to go about it. Then if he captures back, I'll capture his bishop. Then I think I'm winning here.
Yes, you are winning. The only problem might be if against bishop h7 check, he plays king h8 instead, not allowing you to
yes,
to discover. This is maybe still winning for white, but a bit more complicated.
It's very complicated. Yeah, we can capture the pawn, but then I don't really see a clean way to go about it.
Yeah.
So there is something else going on. It's not this one. We can.
You very well saw the idea of bishop h7, bishop g5 attacks the queen, but in these kind of cases, it's useful many times to check what happens if we change the move order. You were calculating bishop h7 followed by bishop g5. What happens if you
start with g5?
Yeah.
That what would
we
make
start
it,
with bishop g5. We are about to take the queen. We are
and the checkmate at the same time.
Yes.
That's the cleanest. Yes.
Exactly. This was the game. The game will continue for a couple of moves, but after f6, white has different ways of checkmating black. I think the easiest is probably bishop h7 check. So if king h7, we have checkmate on e6.
Yes, this is the cleanest as well. Very, very good.
King h8 runs into this very common checkmate. I'm honestly not sure if I played queen h7 because this is also mate. King f7,
and then
check,
the bishop.
Only move, check, and after this is mate. So like both are completely winning for white, but yeah, this bishop takes a6 followed by bishop g5 is very nice for white, and white is completely winning.
Amazing. Very nice. Very nice.
Okay. Yeah. Here is black to move, and I remember in this game after crazy tactics, I was winning against a strong grandmaster. That this is, I think, actually my best win in classical chess, probably like the highest rating I have ever beaten. He was an Olympic player. Well, he's a strong grandmaster. So here, I was sure I wanted to kill the game in the best possible way. I'm winning with many moves, but I managed to find the cleanest. We are already a queen up, but white has two knights. If at some point he managed to coordinate them, okay, it might get a bit tricky.
Very
What is the
troublesome.
easiest way, or like how can black make sure he keeps winning material and he doesn't give any chance for white?
The first move that came to mind the moment the moment I saw the board, is queen to a1. That's the first one I thought about, and then I'm trying to see is there anything better than capturing the pawn? I mean, this is a very simple pawn capture thing. I don't think white is threatening much in this position as well, but I don't think this is strong enough. Maybe there is something else going on.
This is winning. Honestly, I'm quite sure I would win that position, but I chose bishop c6, what I thought was much cleaner, because we attack the rook. This is some sort of example of eliminating the defender. The rook was defending both this check on b1 and the bishop on b6. There are no squares available for the rook now on the b file, because, well, all of them are covered by black pieces. So he resigned here, but what I expected was him to move the rook, let's say rook c5, for example, and now it's easier. We can keep up the bishop. I mean, we can
Absolutely
take the bishop, and this is the cleanest way. Even when we are completely winning, it's important to try to find these these moves, always the cleanest way to win, because as we already know, and if like people have played many games, even when you are completely winning, you are still on time to somehow
miss a tactic or last minute fork. That kind of.
Try to be accurate till the end. Try to make sure we are finishing the games in the best possible way. So yeah, bishop 6 I think was the easiest. He resigned here because he's about to lose the bishop. He's already a queen down. Game is completely lost for white. In this game, I was a bit lucky. I'm black. Last move was knight e4. My queen, I was black, as I said, was on c5, and I moved it to b6. And I was lucky enough to win the game playing black, but I'm completely lost here. My opponent missed a simple tactic. I think this is what you said earlier. He missed the tactic because he didn't know he had it. He didn't expect to have it, as he was playing a strong player. We came from a position where he was already much worse, maybe even lost, as black is an extreme up, but I just completely missed this tactic. It's white to move. White is winning. As I already said, check the checks, make a list of candidate moves, and try to see how white can try to mate black.
The first move that came to my mind, which I'm currently calculating, is knight to f6.
Okay.
The idea is, can I continue adding pressure here? He has to add, he has to eat, he has to capture, and then any other way to continue, I'm not saying away here. So unless
this is maybe the important moment. You have a very strong move here. Once you figure out this move, I think the rest is not so difficult. Check the checks again.
Can we capture again another sacrifice at f7?
This might be interesting, but this pawn is
but
ping,
might
right?
not be. Yes, might not be.
So thanks to the ping,
Maybe I can just deliver the check exactly at g6.
yes,
Yes, just
and
like that.
this would have been completely over. Actually, it would be a devastated game for me, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
after this
and now we
check,
just capture the pawn, and the
first
whole
of all,
game falls
he might
falls apart.
repeat, but yeah, the easiest and the best way is to play something like this. Now, bring the rook to attack. I think both rook e4, rook e5
And the
are winning.
black does not have enough time to defend. Not
Yes,
enough time.
this is completely over. Too many threats.
It's completely over.
So yeah,
I feel
need
like
both.
with this position, the reason why I was able, I think, to think of this move, if you can go back to the initial position for the viewers. Yes, the reason why I was able to think of this move is because during my bullet chess fun games that I play, many players attempt this move as the first move they think of. Like they just want to check the king, push the queen in any way next to the king, and add as much pressure as possible under time control.
Yeah.
But in a classical chess, many players do not think of these positions because the other player has plenty of time to think of a way to escape with the king. So we don't really take that initially into account. We try always to think of logical continuation, not like sacrifices right off the bat. But it's a beautiful game. It's definitely very interesting.
Okay. Okay. This is also a game from my practice. During a time scramble, like I had played, I think my last move with 1 second on the clock. What maybe made my opponent be confident. I know. I was looking for this tactic for the last 10 moves or something like that. So, if I'm not mistaken, my last move was, I don't know if Queen f2 or Rook h8, but basically we go to this position. Black has different ways of playing. I mean, Rook e1, knight e4, I know, but he took the pawn on e5 because he didn't see, like, why not? I mean, he takes a pawn, he's attacking the bishop. If I move the bishop, I know it depends somewhere, but imagine something like bishop e1 would be terrible for me because of rook e1. So probably he thought he was doing very well. However, I played a move and he resigned it. So what moves would you calculate as white? What is the move?
I think the move that I'm thinking of right off the bat is queen to f6.
Yes, very good.
And then he has to capture back or else it's game over. He has to capture back, and then I will capture with the rook.
Yes, and that's mate.
That's mate.
So once again, my opponent, very strong player, 2200 fear rating. Yeah, missed this. What was very lucky for me, because in some of the examples I saw it earlier, I was already winning, and I was kind of deciding how to win. But in this case, I think black is better. And well, by the way, earlier I said 94. Okay, 94. Well, I'm not sure it's good. Well, I mean, I know it's not good. Probably this is.
We have this check, and then,
yes.
But it's not clean. I mean, it's very complicated position.
But probably rook e1 is the best for black.
Probably
because he forces me to go bishop f1 as king s2 would run into knight e4.
True.
Then, I mean, knight e4 attacking the queen, so white is losing. Then I had to play bishop f1, and I don't have this attack against h7. Black pieces are very well coordinated. Well,
then he can play with the knight or with the queen, or lots of different ways of continuing the game.
Black had a very good position, a big advantage. However, luckily for me, he played rook takes d5, which is a mistake, and I managed to win the game and even the tournament later.
Amazing, amazing. It's very nice to find these tactics under time and pressure. That's the accomplishment, I believe. It's not just about knowing that there is a tactic. It's about that you've managed to find it under extreme time and pressure, and that's really remarkable.
In this case, it's going to move position. I was winning earlier. I thought it was kind of easily winning, but things got complicated. And again, under time pressure, we go to this position. white could promote, but then black promotes too.
Yeah,
And
this
actually, it's
is
like who
not
wins
easy. I saw
because
that, I was like, oh, this is double promotion kind of position
no,
where you,
I mean,
yeah,
if this
like this, and
c1,
then it is
I
very
will need to
difficult.
block, and
Mm.
he checkmates us. So
Yeah, there is a checkmate,
yeah,
this checkmate pattern here as well. So we need to
not
find the
easy.
cleanest way to go about it.
Exactly.
And at the
Mm,
same time, we should not
of course, like my opponent is starting to promote what was a very strong strat. Taking the pawn doesn't work that well. I think because of different reasons. The ace is probably to try to give up a perpetual with black,
yes,
and
that would lead to
I
a
might
draw
try
very
to
easily.
escape, but still, this endgame is a draw, and I'm quite sure my opponent would be able to defend it. So, yeah, like, what to play? I mean, as I already said, check the checks. So,
The first move is I'm thinking about right now is something like a queen to f6, maybe. We'll start with
okay,
that.
queen f6. I guess
He
black
will
plays rook d6,
with the rook.
attacks the
And
queen, and promote. I mean, many threats at the same time, right? Not
yeah,
easy to.
this doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Yeah, queen
How
f4 doesn't work. That would be another check.
yes,
So,
also doesn't work. And moving. How about if we move the rook to f6?
yes, this is very strong.
We try it this way.
I think again, once you calculate it, it's not difficult. The thing is, we have to calculate uh, different candidate moves. In this case, black has well,
He
he
has
moves,
to
but
move
the
the king,
queen
I
d6, we
think.
take the queen with check, so we are completely winning.
The
If he
only
moves
move
the
is
well, if
h
he moves the king to g5, we take the rook,
with a
and
check. We win a tempo and the queen.
yes, very important.
The
Everything
checkmate
comes with
even.
check. And if my opponent plays king h5,
h5 is the only move,
that
and
is
then
what will
we
happen again.
then
Now
we
there is a
would
big difference. Yeah. What would
um,
we do?
yeah,
We
we
can
can
promote
just queen now with a queen.
with
Yes,
check,
we promote with a queen.
very important. And now with two queens and a rook, it's gonna be easy to checkmate black. And know like what could she try? She resigned after this, but okay. Whatever she tries, I mean, we are queen up. I know like queen e2 might be a threat. Rook f5. I mean, there are too many things here. But yeah,
Absolutely.
always check the checks, calculate different moves, and yeah, try to find this kind of
Sometimes
tricks.
we arrive to the correct set of moves, but in different order. This we have seen it in a couple of times in this puzzle. Then we have to change the order of things and see
Exactly.
how we can arrive to a better position.
And okay, this is not a game of mine. I mean, this. I think this was a game from. I'm not completely sure. I think it was Mikhail Tal, but I'm not completely sure. I might be wrong about this one. But in any case, it's white to move, and I think again the easiest way to come up with with the position here is to calculate the candidate moves, checks, captures. We don't have, I think, any check here. So what captures does white have? What do we have to calculate? And how is white winning here?
The first move that is coming to my mind is I'm thinking of rook takes e7 initially. The
Okay.
idea is trying to see if I can have any continuation by removing this defender, but I'm not seeing a clean way to capitalize on this sacrifice. I'm not able to see because the knight is going to capture with the knight,
Yes.
and then I don't see how I'm supposed to continue this. So this is not the correct sequence. I'm thinking as well of let's see if we can do anything with this bishop. can we?
I think although the bishop control many good squares, there is no good move to play with the bishop. However, White has a very strong move here.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about the pawn from f2 to f4. I'm also thinking of that.
Okay, but I guess.
But then he
might take it, and it's not.
Might capture back. Yes.
So easy.
I can capture the knight, and then you capture. Yeah, I'm not seeing a clean way to go about this. Like I need a very.
We haven't calculated queen takes d5, but it's of course a move that at first we reject because of kind of obvious reasons.
Now I see it.
Best, but after knight takes d5.
Yeah, now we slide that up to the bank rank.
Yeah, check. King h8 is the only move, and after rook h8.
And then we check.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, this is like this is a good example of players that they need to calculate the checkmate pattern. Even if it's not possible, they should keep it in mind and then think, is there any sacrifice? Is there any way I can do it by actually, activating this sequence of moves? So he knows that the king doesn't have much of squares, and he can imagine that the rook is at the bank rank already. But then he sees that this knight is blocking the path. So how to get rid of this knight? He cannot get rid of this knight right away. He cannot capture it. Like how I started with the first move. I wanted to capture this knight, but then I was like, no, I can't do it with the right tempo. So capturing the queen first and forcing that knight to move is the correct sequence, and then activating the checkmate pattern. Amazing, Master Luis. Thank you so much for these. In these 20 puzzles, we covered a wide range of tactics, from pins to desperado moves, to sacrifices, to everything in between. And we have also seen games where it was even a drawish position, where because of tactics, the players were able to win the game. We've also seen lots of elements of various tactics, like discovery checks, how we have a double check sometimes. There's lots of different things that come into mind in various variations that we have seen in these puzzles. Special thanks to you, Master Luis, for compiling these amazing puzzles for us. We will, of course, see you again in part 2 of this series. Would like to remind the viewers as well that if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Part 2 hopefully will come next week. And if you are interested in one-on-one mentorship with Master Luis, visit us at boldchess.com. We also have a complete chess academy that teaches you everything you need to master this game, from tactics to end games to openings, to even master games that you can learn from. Make sure you visit our website. Until next time, we wish you a great day ahead. Happy chess playing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Master Luis. We will see you soon.
My pleasure. See you soon.
All the best.